my channel. Today I am reviewing the new collection from Pat McGrath. This recently launched on the Sephora website and it was available originally for Rouge members only, but now it is currently available for everyone. I'm really excited to give you guys my thoughts on this as if you guys have been interested in buying it. Now this little set costs $48 and you get the little mini palette, you get this little glitter pigments, and you get a miniature mascara. Now, I already have the little miniature mascara, so I kind of put this into the side because I'm not going to use it until I'm done using the other one. Let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of description about what's in this, and then we're going to jump straight into the tutorial and the swatches and my final thoughts and all of that fun. Oh, look how cute this little palette is. I mean, look at those shades. They're really, really pretty. Later on, I also swatch it and compare it to the Bronze Ambition palette. When I first seen the palette, I was like, wait, that kind of reminds me of the Bronze Ambition palette. So I swatch it and compare it to this one in case those of you guys had the exact same kind of thought. Now it comes in this super cute sleeve. This is what the sleeve looks like, which I really love the purple. It's really pretty. It reminds me of the little mini palettes from Natasha Denona. You know, the little $25 palettes? That's kind of the vibes that this has given me. I just barely bought my first Pat McGrath palette, which was the Mothership 5 palette. And I just was having a hard time spending that much money on a palette, and I didn't really understand the hype until I actually used it. Now, I've always said that Pat McGrath palettes are very unique. Her shadows are very unique in the way that they apply because they're so pigmented. So I feel like if you go in with a very light hand, you can really create a beautiful look. Just don't go in with a heavy hand. If you're new to the whole Pat McGrath eyeshadows, just go in very lightly and kind of build and work from there. So I am not a Pat McGrath collector. I'm slowly kind of buying palettes here and there. I have the Mothership 5 palette. I have the Bronze Ambition palette. I also bought the Bronze Temptation palette, but I actually gave that to a friend of mine here on YouTube, and she's been able to create such gorgeous looks with it, which I'm loving it because it was a palette I wasn't using very often. So why not gift it to somebody that will use more of it? So that's what I did. So I currently only have the two. Okay, so the description on this palette is described as titillate and tantalize with luxurious formulations designed to induce psychedelic pleasure. Provoke mind-altering creativity with a mini palette of 6 sensuous shadows that smoothly glide across the lids with a hallucinatory jolt of pleasure. Take your eyes even higher with the illicit Angel Dust loose pigment, which delivers a dramatic rush of prismatic iridescence. Finally, lavish your fetish eyes mascara as you coat each individual lash in potently pigmented shine. This climax-inducing collection is the ultimate beauty bender. Okay, so that was very well written. Congratulations to whoever wrote that. So as you will notice, there are 2 creamy matte shades. Like, her matte shades are extremely creamy and extremely pigmented. And then you have the 4 shimmer / metallic shades. So this palette, I feel like, is kind of all the shades that is very user-friendly. She's always been very, very adventurous when choosing shades in her palettes. I feel like these shades were kind of brought together for anybody to use. I have a lot to say about the palette, so we're gonna go jump straight into the tutorial. I'm gonna show you guys how I created the look. I'm gonna show you swatches. I'm gonna compare it to the Bronze Ambition palette, and then we're gonna use the mascara. We're gonna use this glitter topper, and we're just gonna get into all of it. So that's what we're doing today. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Here she is, this cute little bundle, and I'm excited to open this up. Here we go. We got Queen McGrath right here. Check out that packaging. I like the sleeve on this. Oh, and I'm dripping those little gold. I got these little like gold, you know, these little, I don't know what these are called, but like these little confetti things all over me.
5 minutes later.
Oh, and it's sticking to the, okay. Oh shit. Okay, hold on a second. It's like sticking to the mascara.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so let's open up the palette. So this really pretty purple sleeve, and it's opened up like this, and it's just a traditional black palette like this, and those shades are really, really pretty. So that's the difference in the size of the pans. So you can see they're much smaller. They're probably half the size. So I just looked on the packaging. So this is 6 grams. Okay, and I like how it folds back. I really like that. It has a magnet and it folds back. And you can just kind of set it like this if you're not using the mirror. So I do like that. And this size right here is 12 grams. So these are 12, those are 6. So these are exactly half the size of these palettes. This pigment, oh, it's so pretty. Normally I don't take off like the full tabby thing, but it seems like this is kind of hard to get out, which isn't sometimes a bad thing, but maybe I have to really tap it. Oh yeah, you really got to tap this, which is probably not a bad thing. So as you can see, these are teeny little flecks of pigment. So I hope you guys can see that. So let's put this on the back of my hand. I have concealer right there, so just don't mind that. Ooh. Oh, okay, that's really pretty. Look at that. That's concealer. Don't mind that, but look how pretty that is. It's got little tiny flecks of like pink and peach and blue. It's definitely really, really pretty. I hope you guys can see that. That's really pretty. I am going to be using the Sonia G Pro Eye Set, which is back in stock, which I'm super excited about. I will leave a link to these brushes in the description box down below. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Crease Pro and let's just go into this matte shade right here. For reference, I did put on my P. Louise eyeshadow base. So I'm gonna place most of the pigment right out here on this outer corner. Where I want it to be the darkest, that's where I'm gonna place it, and then I'm gonna blend it where I need it. So I'm bringing it in slightly, but leaving most of it right there on that outer corner. Okay, I'm gonna go back in for a second time and I'm gonna place that right here on this outer portion. Again, her shadows are exceptionally soft, and with the matte shades, I really don't get a lot of like fallout or anything. They're just really pigmented shadows. So I've just went in and added a little bit more. You can really work with just one matte shade from her because her pigments, her shadows are so soft and so easy to blend that you can use just that one shade, but have different dimensions within that one shade. So I was not worried about it only having one matte shade because that's typically what I run into when I use a Pat McGrath palette, and you kind of get used to just working with that one shade. I'm going to bring a little bit into that inner corner, just a little bit though. I think I'm going to go in with my Builder Pro, and I'm going to go into that matte shade, and I'm going to pop this right here on this outer corner and just add that dimension, but I'm not really going to buff it. I'm just kind of packing it. And then I'm going to go into this crease brush and just blend out those edges a little bit, but leaving that depth. So soft. I don't know how she does it. I really don't know how she does it, but her shadows are like no other shadows. They're just so hard to explain unless you've used them for yourself. They're so pigmented, but at the same time, very buttery, very soft, very blendable, and they're in a class of their own. I mean, that's just the bottom line. They really, really are. Oh, this is becoming my new favorite brush for my lower lash line. I'm actually really loving it. This is the Luxie 213 Eye Shading Brush. I'm going to go into that matte shade. I'm going to pop that right under my lash line. I might not be able to use this. We'll see. This shadow is so pigmented, I may not be able to use it. I am going to take a small smudger brush. I'm going to go into the black, which is, I think this is more of her like creamy, oh yeah, this is creamy. And I'm going to use that to kind of buff into the lash line. Damn, that is a nice black. I am so glad she included that black in here. Okay, so I'm going to try to kind of use this as my eyeliner. That's not really working that well. It's not working as good as I was kind of hoping it would, but I'm just gonna kind of take my finger and kind of smudge it out. Okay, now I'm gonna mix between the matte black and the matte like rust shade and kind of go over top and just build up that dimension right here on this outer corner. So I'm getting a little bit of fallout from that black, so just know that. Using these two together, they blend very good together. They really marry each other very well. I mean, you can see the dimension that that black it gave that outer corner, but it doesn't look patchy. What do I want for a lid shade? Like this purple is freaking beautiful, but I'm not really wearing the outfit for that. Let's go into the rust and then maybe brighten it with this gold. I'm gonna take this Worker Pro from Sonia G and let's put it on dry first without going in with, you know, wetting it down or anything like that. Okay, so it's pretty, but it's not like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? You probably need to use a finger, so let's go in with the finger. That's, oh my gosh, do you see that? The finger just really brought it together. The finger is where it's at with that shadow. I'm definitely gonna have to clean up my concealer. It's kind of a mess, but that's okay because the concealer I'm using, I'm kind of testing out. I've started early enough in the day that I'm not gonna affect the wear time of it. So I'm gonna go into the gold shade and let's put this one on first and right here in the corner. Yeah, not really feeling it. So let's go in with the finger. Okay, so the finger definitely applies these shadows the best, but the problem with that is I'm not the best with applying with a finger. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I really struggle applying shadows with my finger, and it's because I wear nails and just, you know, like it comes in between it. I mean, it kind of is. Let's go in with this pigment for a second and kind of just melt all these together. Come on, why not? So I'm gonna go in with my finger. And I'm gonna pop this like right here. Oh shit skis. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, but that is extremely messy. Okay, so this might be something that you need to put over top of some glitter glue. Just gonna like try to wipe that away. I'm gonna spray this with some setting spray. And kind of get it wet, and then I'm gonna like press it on to my lid. I think when I do the under eye, I'm gonna use glitter glue, and I will kind of use glitter glue to kind of stick the glitter on, but I will let you guys know when I'm editing how this lasts without glitter glue, because I think that's gonna be kind of something that we would want to know. Is this a pigment that you're gonna have to use a glitter glue with, or when you put it on the eye, does it just stay in place? Because this looks beautiful. I mean, I really like the way this looks. This looks really pretty. So on this side, I put the glitter glue on. This side I didn't. I will say I like the way this looks without the glitter glue. I feel like this is just kind of like a spray of glitter on the eye versus this one is kind of firmly packed. I kind of like it without the glitter glue. Sometimes with loose glitter, it seems like when you use a setting spray, it will kind of like melt it into the eye, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of hoping that it stays this way and it stays nice and pretty, but we'll see how it goes. The mascara, I got this one during, I think Sephora had like a beauty offer or something, so I picked one up. So I'm not gonna open up this one. I'm actually just gonna put this one up and use this one. The thing that I didn't like about the mascara was the wand. And the reason why I didn't really love the wand is because it is kind of just like it's all one length, as you can see. And I think it would have been better. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a genius, so who am I to say? But for me, I would have preferred like maybe the top to been shorter bristles and then maybe the bottom this length. I feel like when it's all the same length and it doesn't come to a point, it's harder for me to put the mascara on in the corner because I don't have the fullest of the lashes. I mean, that's just my preference. I mean, obviously, we all have our own preference on, you know, brushes and stuff like that. Shizzy. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on. This is a decent mascara, you guys. I'm not bagging on it. It's a decent mascara. If you get it, you will probably like it. But I do have mascaras in my collection that I think I prefer over this one. But I mean, we all like something different, and it's totally fine. Okay, so that's what one coat looks like, and that's pretty good. So I'm gonna go in with a second coat. That looks really good. If the wand was better and was something I preferred, I would probably use this mascara more than I do. Okay, so I am back, and for the lashes, I just threw on the Lilly lashes, the premium synthetic, pretty much the only ones I can wear from her line, you guys. Like, even the Lilly lashes that we just got in the Boxy Locks, they lasted me like a day. I don't know why. I have the worst luck with Lilly lashes. Premium synthetic ones, which I think are sold out at the moment, but they are my favorite, and that is what I put on. Okay, so for as the lippy, I put on the KKW Beauty Nude number 2 lip liner. I mean, because it's my favorite. And then I threw on some Pat McGrath because this whole video is about Pat McGrath, the queen of the makeup universe, okay? So this is one of her, this is still the prettiest packaging I have ever had in lipstick. And this is in the shade Flesh Fatale. Even though it doesn't match my shirt the best, it sure matches this eye look though. And that, at the end of the day, that's what matters. Okay. These shadows swatch better than any palette I have in my collection. There is something amazing when you swatch a Pat McGrath palette. Like, it's unbelievable. This is what the palette looks like swatched. As you can see, I mean, I'm not the best swatcher, and it makes my swatches look good, okay? Like, this gold, holy shiskies. Look at that gold, you guys. I mean, come on. That matte shade, crazy pigmented. Crazy pigmented. It's a nice palette. I mean, as you can see, those shades really reflect. So this is the glitter pigment, and it's definitely a little bit more sheer, which is really nice because the sheer glitter pigments just go over any of the shades in here and just give it that extra pop. Yeah, I like the loose glitter. These are pretty nice. I want to compare a few shades from this palette to the Bronze Ambition palette. Okay, so I'm gonna go into these two gold shades right here, this one and the one on the bottom row, so you can see the differences between those two shades. Now I'm gonna go into the two gold shades in this palette. These two on the bottom row are from the Bronze Ambition palette. These two on the top row are from this new mini palette, the Eye Ecstasy. And you guys, these are very similar shades, especially these two. As you can see, these two look very similar, but this one's definitely a little bit more bronzy, a little bit more on the red side, as you can see, but you can see the depth when I turn my arm like that. But these two are very, very similar. There's a tiny bit difference between them. The one from the little mini palette is bigger. The one from the little mini palette is a little bit brighter than the one from the Bronze Ambition palette. The shade I'm referring to is called Guilt Trip. So this is Guilt Trip. So let's go ahead and compare this Rust shade right here in this Bronze Ambition palette to this shade right here in the mini palette. So there's a definite difference. So this is the one from the mini palette. This is the one from the Bronze Ambition. But let's go into this shade in the Bronze Ambition palette and see what that looks like compared to this. Okay, yeah, that's a horrible swatch. Do not judge, that's a horrible swatch. But as you can tell, they're not the same shade. Let's go into the purple shade and see what the purple shade looks like. So that's what that shade looks like. This is not my favorite shade from the Bronze Ambition palette. I've just never been able to get that shade to look very pretty on my eye. So this one is definitely, you know, there's not any similarities between those shades, but the gold, so this first shade right here in this palette and the first shade in this palette are extremely similar. So just know that, but the rest of the shades I wouldn't say are anything alike. They all have different tones. They all have a kind of a different look to them. So let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts. Okay, so some of you guys are gonna ask, is this collection worth $48? And I'm here to tell you, yes. Everything that she has is very high quality and very expensive. I definitely think there is a value in there. It says it's a $78 value. It probably is a $78 value. I could see that being the price of this. So in my opinion, $48 is a good price for all three of these items because it is Pat McGrath. So for those of you guys that have been watching on Trend Mood and stuff, I will put some images as I'm talking. On the 28th of March, she is actually launching some eyeshadow singles, and they're just gonna come in these little like round things. Well, she's gonna have 17 different shades, and there's going to be matte, metallics, and shimmers. They're going to be $25 each. And I don't know exactly, you know, how much comes in it or anything like that, but the pictures look really, really pretty. And the shimmers are just amazingly beautiful. That was my deciding factor whether I want to buy this or not, was that matte black. I've heard so many people talk about her matte blacks just being incredibly pigmented and so easy to blend on the eye. And they were not lying. And let me just say that they were not lying to you. This is a very creamy black. I did get a little bit of fallout, so I did have to kind of like fix it, but it's so creamy and it's so like, I mixed this shade and this shade together just on this outer lower portion, and it was like heaven. Like, they are amazing. As some would say, where's all the other transition shades that I need? With her formula, it is a unique formula. You really don't need a bunch of transition shades. So having this in here, I was really glad to kind of play around with her loose pigment and just kind of play around with it. And like I said, I will let you guys know in the editing how it looks without using the glitter glue, because I do prefer the way it looks, but I want to see if it lasts. Like, I don't really want a bunch of glitter all over my face throughout the rest of the day. So we'll see how it goes, but I do think this is a nice value, and I like this little collection. Okay, so let's just say that you are somebody that has a ton of Pat McGrath palettes. Do you need this in your collection? I mean, probably not. I don't know why you would, but if you're somebody like me, now I had 3 Pat McGrath palettes. I have the Mothership 5 palette, I have the Bronze Ambition palette. I used to have the Bronze Temptations palette, but I actually gave that to a friend of mine. Because I don't have a lot of Pat McGrath, I was happy to get this little mini in my collection, because this is just gonna be the perfect little palette for me to throw into like my traveling case and head out the door. I don't really like the packaging on this, and I know that I am definitely probably the only one that doesn't like the packaging on these Pat McGrath smaller palettes. It's not my favorite, and I am so glad that this one is not like a miniature version of that. So, but for those of you out there who like this packaging, you might think this packaging is maybe cheaper because it doesn't look like this, and it's not kind of as fancy to open. And because for Pat McGrath, I'm noticing that everything is about the experience with her. She is all about the experience. And so, you know, I think that's why she does this extraordinary packaging, because she likes the experience of unwrapping this and kind of opening it up to this beautiful palette. This one is not that way. However, I'm totally okay with that. I kind of like this little packaging, and I like how little these are, but you still get the pigmentation. The shadows are amazingly pigmented. I have not noticed any difference in this formula versus the other palette or even the Mothership palette. I love it, you guys. I'm here to tell you, I like this little collection, and I'm glad I have it in my collection, even though I already had a little mini mascara from like a beauty offer from Sephora. I was still happy to get it because I really wanted the little glitter pigment, and I want the palette. And mascara is only supposed to last you like, what, 3 to 6 months? I mean, I think 6 months is pushing it. That's it for my review on this new collection from Pat McGrath. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again for all the love that you guys show me and this channel. It truly means the world to me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day filled with love and happiness. I will see you guys right back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. and I love you all so much. Bye! So I'm kind of hoping that this kind of just sets down. I did spray it with some setting spray because sometimes with list glitter, I don't know what I'm talking about. Based on the price of everything that Natasha Donato, what the hell am I talking about? I'm sorry, Pat. Much love to you.